Hello, and welcome to Five for Friday for this Friday, May 27th, the start of our Memorial Day holiday weekend. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that I try to keep these stories focused on business-specific news items and stay away from politics and other current events. It's hard to ignore the horrific mass shootings that took place in the last couple of weeks in Texas and in Buffalo. I know there's no easy or simple solution to address this history. I mean, we all have our opinions on what might be some options, but I just want to say, I hope you'll hug your loved ones extra hard this weekend and think about ways to keep your friends and family safe and loved. All right, so on to more pleasant subjects as we cover our 5 stories that stood out to me this week as signals of change for small businesses. So, and again, just a reminder, as always, this video is just a quick overview of the stories. There's a more detail available for you in the Five for Friday newsletter that you can find in the comments below in the side, the Small Together community. So you take a look at that as well. All right, let's start with story number 1, robots and new tech now and later. First off, Walmart is expanding its drone delivery services to 6 states now, but none of them are my state, so that's a little less exciting for me. And yes, they all are warm-ish states like Arizona and Florida and Texas. So, in other news coming to you from dystopian science fiction movies, MasterCard will let you pay with biometrics like your face scan or a hand touch instead of a card swipe. And that never went wrong in the movies. So, and New York is distributing robot companions to lonely senior citizens. I think that was part of the iRobot movie plot, just saying. And plans for the future include cool edible tape to keep your burrito from falling apart, robots shaped like rotini, but not edible, but do a better job maneuvering around complex environments. And coming in 2027, a space hotel that will be built by robots. We are living in a movie. All right, story number 2. What are the best places to live post-COVID? We all know that people made some big housing changes during COVID to escape crowded cities and find homes with more space outside and room inside for a home office. The US Census Bureau has confirmed that, sharing that big city populations are on the decline, with New York, San Jose, and Chicago the biggest losers. We're also seeing a shift in location based on politics, where low-skilled jobs are more likely to be filled by new residents of blue cities or states that pay higher than the federal minimum wage. But if you really want to optimize your work-life balance, apparently the place to be is not in the US, it's Oslo in Norway. All right, moving on to story number 3, the metaverse. Is it actually useful? Well, apparently, if you're a giant global firm like Accenture, then perhaps the answer is yes. They are using their own version of the metaverse called the Nth Floor to onboard and train new hires. And the US military is also using a version of the metaverse to train fighter pilots through a combination of augmented reality, AI, and video game graphics. On the less useful side, UPS is planning to join the metaverse and create NFTs and virtual packages and labels to ship your virtual gifts in the metaverse. Don't they just magically appear wherever you want them? I guess I just don't get it yet. And one final metaverse story, Meta, the company, is expected to lose money for the next 3 to 5 years as they grow out their own version of the metaverse. Must be nice to have so much money you can plan to lose it for years and years. And for story number 4, we look at some indicators and opportunities in the world of climate change. First, indicators of concern include an expectation of a worse than normal hurricane season on the East Coast, along with severe water supply issues in California. The city of Barcelona is preparing for expected extreme heat this summer by offering up public buildings as climate shelters for low-income residents who don't have air conditioning. If you want to be fully climate aware, then consider terramation as an alternative to cremation upon your death, where your human remains will essentially be composted. That's the latest I'm hearing. And if you're at sea and encountering endless plastics in the water, then get ready for a ship that perpetually lives at sea, collecting plastic and converting it to renewable fuel to power the boat. No word on whether that's autonomous or not. And in the interest of appealing to capitalists, Flow Carbon is the latest entry to the world of tokenizing carbon credits to drive investment in carbon dioxide removal through these carbon credit tokens. To be determined if that makes any sense. All right. Finally, for story number 5, let's get back to our ongoing topic. Is the recession coming? Yes or no? Some of the positive signs for the economy, US growth is now outpacing China for the first time since 1976. The US birth rate has increased for the first time since 2014. Jobless claims have dropped, and even mortgage rates went down slightly, and Americans are at the highest level of financial well-being for the past decade. We are still struggling with inflation, and the SPAC firms that were created in the last couple of years aren't doing great, but I'd argue that the SPAC issue has nothing to do with the economy. The good news is that a recession is supposedly a good time to start a new business, especially as a solopreneur with limited cost or risks to starting up. So stay entrepreneurial despite or because of our pending recession. In disruption, there is opportunity. And guess what? 2 bonus stories for you again this week, just like we had 2 last week. These are stories I just had to share, but they didn't really fit neatly into any categories. First is an I told you so story from here in Wisconsin, where it turns out that our state's huge infrastructure investment for Foxconn technology that was supposed to create 13,000 high-paying jobs has actually resulted in just under 600 jobs and a huge abandoned business development. Will Foxconn pay the state what it owes for not delivering? To be determined. And finally, cryptocurrency company Coinbase is asking employees to rate their interactions with their fellow employees on an app, offering a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a neutral offering. That kind of sounds like one of the more stupid ways to evaluate employees that I can think of, but feel free to disagree with me. All right, that's it for this week. Have a great Memorial Day holiday weekend, and I'll see you next week for 5 for Friday. Thanks.